Welcome to your Saga Oasis. In such a huge world, humans often confine themselves to a small part of it. Many will begin and end their lives in the same place, living and experiencing everything with familiar landscapes and long-known faces. Over the years, they form an invisible cocoon where they feel safe and comfortable, rarely considering venturing beyond it to try something new. However, some people don't feel that way. They decide to break free from the normal life they find suffocating, leaving everything behind and starting their life anew in a fresh, unfamiliar place. So, why would they want to do that? First, because they're unhappy. They want to break away from the past, from what they've called life for many years, and start afresh. The reasons for someone being unhappy are numerous. It could be because they've been burdened with too many heavy responsibilities and pressures for a long time. Or some may seek freedom and independence, escaping the control and expectations of others to live life on their own terms. Or more simply, due to economic or social circumstances, some people can't find a job and make ends meet, so they leave. Let's look at some typical examples. Into the Wild is a film adaptation of John Krakauer's book of the same name, recounting the true story of Christopher McCandless's adventure in the 1990s. Growing up in a wealthy but unhappy family, shortly after graduating from college, Chris decides to donate all his savings to a charity, destroys all forms of identification, and doesn't even let his family know where he's going. He adopts another name, travels by foot or hitchhiking, sleeps along the way when needed, and works at a fast food joint, harvesting wheat on farms or taking care of horses. Into the Wild shows how some young people feel lost and disappointed with life. Unlike Chris, not everyone is brave enough to face these feelings and leave everything behind to live freely in search of happiness and inner peace. Second, some people experience mental traumas, psychological disorders, or toxic relationships in their current lives. If you've watched the movie Wild, based on Cheryl Strayed's memoir, you might remember the solitary 94-day journey of a woman who decides to hike the 1,100 miles Pacific Crest Trail to find peace and overcome the whirlwind of pain. The young woman had no money, no career, no love, no prior experience in physical endurance or wilderness exploration. She had just lost an entire family, ending her marriage after 7 years together. Prior to that, her mother had passed away from cancer. On her journey, she had to climb mountains and hike through 25 forests and 7 national parks, experiencing dangerous encounters, tears, joys, fears, and hallucinations. It was only when Cheryl went through many unforeseen hardships and meetings along the way that she forgave herself for past mistakes, cherished the present moments, and began anew in a fresh and healthier environment. Third, it may be somewhat unbelievable, but sometimes the reason may not be clear. The desire to leave may appear illogical and hard to explain. This inclination could be an innate human trait, a leftover from our ancestors' nomadic ways. Alternatively, it might be an unconscious drive to escape the monotony of daily life, to refresh oneself in new environments. Like in the movie Forrest Gump, the main character suddenly decides to start running across America without any clear reason. Forrest's action isn't driven by work pressure or personal life issues. It's simply an unconscious desire to do something different, to explore and experience life in his own way. And is packing up and starting anew somewhere else truly a wise move? This depends on many personal factors, and specific circumstances. For some who want to leave behind an unhappy reality for a more positive life, it can be a wise move if done with careful thought and thorough preparation. This includes considerations of family relationships, friendships, employment, and finances. But for some, does changing living environments really bring effective results, especially in the long run? Ultimately, isn't our unhappiness the result of internal thoughts rather than external circumstances? And isn't it true that no matter where we go, we still carry ourselves, including our existing mindset and discontent? Many change residences hoping to find satisfaction. Some even leave their homeland permanently out of disgust for their current environment, moving from place to place, eagerly looking forward to the happy moments each move brings. They temporarily ease their constant dissatisfaction with life, calling it a journey to find oneself. However, like all joys from the outside world, it's not a permanent remedy for unhappiness. The happiness it brings is fleeting. We may leave everything behind, build a new life on a different place, and even change our identity, but ultimately, we still have to face ourselves. Our feelings don't depend on circumstances, but on how we perceive them. From that perspective, abandoning everything to pursue happiness is irrational and unrealistic. We're simply shifting the issue to another place. However, for others, their belief system values the inherent human right to freedom. We can exercise this freedom in various ways. The idea of stepping out of familiar surroundings, distancing ourselves from the ordinary, and asserting ourselves in the world is a declaration of freedom. This may require us to leave behind familiar values and beliefs that we've held onto for a long time. We consciously choose to control our own lives, free from others' expectations. We make decisions based on our values and desires, not on what society dictates. In fact, we challenge and break away from conventional expectations. We take responsibility for our future, actively shaping our lives instead of staying in a comfort zone and letting our surroundings define us. Finally, we believe that the desire to abandon everything is more than just an attempt to escape the familiar or seek happiness in a different place. It is a deep part of our nature. Therefore, the feeling of wanting to leave everything behind might not be unusual, but rather a reflection of the truest aspect of human nature. We wish you the courage and faith to do whatever you believe is best for your own life. It's the end of the video. Thank you for joining us today. And don't miss out on more videos from us by subscribing and turning on the notification bell icon.